So everybody, welcome back to the Game Haus. And you know, when I was a kid growing up, and when I was growing up in the dark ages before the internet, I would lay awake in my bed at night as a kid, and I'd listen to the radio. And I grew up on the West Coast, and I loved to listen to sports on the radio. And I grew up listening to he's since passed, but I grew up listening to a baseball announcer for the Seattle Seattle team up there, Dave Haus. And I always enjoyed listening to him. He had a powerfully strong voice. He had his own catchphrase. He brought life to the game that I, as a child, loved to play and loved to watch and loved to listen to. And now in this age of the internet and esports, I found an app and I've connected with the founder. I found an app and I have the founder with me right now, and he's seen the opportunity for the same basic concept of esports on radio and on your phone. Now, I'm sure that raises all sorts of questions, and we will definitely get into those. But first, I'd like him to introduce himself and give you a little bit about his background. So I have with me Brett from Strymer. Brett, go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
How you doing? Yeah, so Brett, I'm the founder, CEO of Strymer. And so I've been working kind of in the esports gaming world for the past year and a half, formerly working for a company called Game Haus. I've been working on this concept for probably the last year or so. And before I was in esports and gaming and, working for Game Haus, I was actually working for startups in the Boston area, kind of building out their marketing programs, lifecycle marketing, CRM, things like that. Okay,
perfect. So sort of talk about the problem, the personal event in your life that right after it happened, you realized that there's an opportunity here to solve a problem. And with the growing market that is gaming and esports, there's all sorts of opportunities everywhere. So sort of talk about the thing that happened in your life that you realized that this was a possibility for you.
Yeah, for sure. So I would say about 2.5 years ago, I had a very long commute. It was about a 2.5-hour commute from New Hampshire to Boston, where I was working. And, I'm a huge EG fan, Evil Geniuses. I watch a lot of Dota 2. That's the team I follow. And what I was realizing was a lot of their qualifiers or their tournament games were actually happening, during my commuting hours, whether it was early in the morning or later at night, because obviously esports events happen all over the world, so the time is not consistent. So during my commute, I would try and fire up the Twitch app and stream the video, and it was really, really bad experience for me because I didn't have consistent bandwidth and all that sort of stuff, and I didn't have Wi-Fi. So it was it would jump stream quality all the time. It would be pixelated, it would be buffering all the time. So it was really kind of hard to figure out what was going on. So I tried the audio-only version of Twitch, but it became pretty apparent that it was just basically Twitch collapsing the video stream, but still streaming at the same quality, because I was running into the exact same issue where, it would be buffering a lot, and, it would be clipping all the time. And so it made it hard to kind of figure out what was going on. But I did realize that with just the audio, I knew I could figure out what was going on in the game because, as a fan of Dota 2, and I obviously I play it a lot, I know the game well enough where I can understand what's going on when I hear the audio cues from the announcers. So I thought to myself, well, I think there's probably a better way to do this, and so what I did was I contracted a couple developers, went through the concept with them, and we were able to build an MVP that was basically tying into the Twitch API, compressing the stream into audio quality type streams, which is much lighter weight, reduces battery drain, and it allows you to stream without clipping or anything at lower bandwidth. If you don't have like great cell service or whatever, it'll still work pretty good, which is why we give you the quality settings and things like that. And so we launched the MVP last year. I think it was May or June. We launched it actually around the China Super Major that was happening for Dota 2. And we blew up on Reddit. I basically posted a Reddit post about the MVP, and it blew up. It made to the front page of the Dota 2 Reddit. They crashed our server like 3 times in like 6 hours because we were not ready.
Nice.
We were not ready for that kind of response.
Nice.
Reddit's a pretty hard place to kind of get your post to be floated up to the top. So it was pretty shocking to me. I had a hunch that people would like it, but I didn't realize it was going to be like that. So for me, that was validation of the concept. And from then on, I've been working with the 2 developers to kind of make this a real product.
Okay, so it almost sounds like to me that the problem you're solving is not necessarily that people want, or not necessarily that there isn't a product that just does audio that serves people. The problem you're actually solving is that the Twitch app for your phone doesn't really serve the needs of, doesn't really serve everybody's needs. Is that a fair statement?
I think it's pretty fair. The other thing that happens with Twitch is obviously a huge portion of Twitch is dedicated to the streamers themselves, so individual streamers. And so part of what we do is we sort of bring in all of the esports specific streams. So we're kind of curating. It's a curated experience. So it's truly for esports fans.
Okay.
We do have some streamers that are on the platform that we pull through, like Dr. Disrespect, but those are more because he does the Code Red tournaments. He's also pretty vocal, so it's pretty funny to listen to him, which is pretty cool. But it's the app is really for esports fans, and so an esports fan more specifically that are on the go. Which, if you look at the demographic of a typical esports fan, they're 25. They're making around, average age of 25. They're making pretty good salary, 70,000 plus. So, these guys are, working, at least in some capacity. So they're not able to catch the video stream at all time. And even worse, their work could, theoretically, like, get rid of Twitch, like basically ban Twitch from being able to be streamed at their place of work. So that's kind of where we would come in as well. So we serve, I feel like we serve a place where there's not really any players in that space, I feel like. Okay,
so if you're only targeting the games, the specific channels where the competitive games are being played, so you're already tuning into an audience that has a pretty good understanding of the game, and you're also serving, I guess, a deeper need where people want to stay connected, yet if their work situation doesn't allow them to stream the video, they can still be on their phone. So I guess that answers the question for me, at least, is how do you adjust for, or how do you properly connect with your audience on for certain games when you're only doing sound? And the answer is the audience is there already. They already understand the game. So you're not shooting for the person who's just sort of coming into the space. Right?
Right, exactly. Well, I would say that we're definitely not geared towards the sort of newish newbie / casual viewer right now, or
Okay.
I guess listener right now.
Right.
We're definitely more along the lines of the guys that understand the games really well. Even, if you put 100 hours into a game, you could probably get a lot out of the audio stream.
Okay.
Because knowing what characters are going up against each other and what their abilities do is kind of half the battle when you're listening to an audio stream. So you can understand, sort of what spells are being hit, or if you're listening to an FPS, like CS:GO is very popular on our platform, and CS:GO is a very kind of methodical chess game. And so the casters are very good at kind of portraying that via their voice. So it's pretty easy to understand what's going on, especially if you understand the maps and the certain names that certain parts of the map have.
Right.
So we definitely cater to those people.
Perfect. Okay. So then the next obvious question is, so the app right now is free. You can get it on. It's available on the iPhone and available on the iPhone and Android, and also on the desktop. So how do you plan to monetize this?
Yeah, so it's a good question. Obviously, what we're going to be testing, which is what a lot of people go with, is sort of a freemium model, which I think gamers specifically are pretty used to. So the idea being we would offer a subscription for, a pretty smallish fee comparatively, which would give you access to sort of ad-free listening. And then also what we want to offer is exclusive benefits, that we will build out as we build out the platform, where you'll get access to exclusive streams. Like, if I would say an example of this would be like, if you are, we could be additive to the video stream. So like if you want to listen in on like the communication of your favorite team while you're watching the game, we could offer that, working with like an ESL1 to tap into the sort of comms of like, Fnatic while they're in game, and offering that to our users as an exclusive benefit for if they're a member of the, of the subscription. So that's what we're going to test. Obviously, as part of that, we'll probably introduce ads. But the beauty of audio ads is they're not as kind of intense as video ads,
Right.
Stuff like that. They're usually a lot shorter and more digestible. So I obviously do not want to overwhelm our users with ads. So we're going to be very, very mindful of that. So that's kind of our plan right now.
Okay, so then what about the person who pays for the next level? So have you thought about adding in a feature where if they want some certain player stats, the game is sort of part of the whole premium offering?
So actually, the stats will not be part of the premium offering. It will be a part of the free offering. So
Okay.
we are definitely planning. It's on the roadmap. It's actually on the roadmap for the next month or two. We're going to start working on it. We actually signed an agreement with an API that will give us this information in real time.
Wow.
So we're going to introduce stat tracking, which is a feature that we have gotten a lot of requests for. And that's because I would say a majority of people are coming into a stream not at the beginning, so they're not understanding where it's starting.
Okay, got it.
And so the stat tracking is to allow them to understand where the game is now when they hit that play button.
That's a really interesting thought process right there, is that you're going to the next level of, okay, so these people listen. Now, at what point in the process are they actually listening? And we all know that when people listen to a radio broadcast, it's usually when they're going somewhere. So they have maybe 15, 20, 30 minutes, and they know that a certain squad is playing CSGO right now. It's one of their favorites. They want to see where it's at. So so most people aren't jumping into a stream at the very beginning. They're jumping in at some point, and people want to feel like that they know what's going on. So it's really interesting that you're offering the stats for free. I think that it's an awesome thought process, because you're already giving people what am I trying to say? You're giving people a reason to keep on tuning in, because I'm sure you'll have people that will tune in once or twice, but to keep them coming back and back and back. So, for example, if you're doing an event and the event is 4.5 hours long, someone might be able to catch 20 minutes here, 30 minutes there, and they want to know what's happened in the space of time that I've been gone. So awesome thought process. I really like that whole thought process there, because it's real easy to just say this is what the app does, but then how do you get people to keep on coming back and keep on coming back? That's fantastic thinking right there, and that's why people like you are smart. And when you go from one awesome startup to another, then you start having your own ideas. These second, third level thought processes all come into play. So that's really awesome right there. Now, giving people more reason to come back. Have you thought about whether on the free plan or some premium tier to have your own content?
Yes. So I'll kind of give you the rundown of where we see Strymer going, over the next year and a half. That sort of stuff. So obviously, We're going to introduce the stat tracking. That's very, very important to us. Very, very important to our users via their feedback. But the other thing that we're going to do is, obviously we're tied into we're consuming the Twitch API. But what we really want to do and want to get to over the next year is working with the tournament organizers directly to have audio specific casters, and then have that plugged directly into Strymer, so that we can control that whole aspect, and it becomes a better experience for our users, because the casters know that their audience is audio only, so they can be a little bit more descriptive in what they're talking about. And I think it also opens up a lot of opportunities for casters that frankly don't get a lot of opportunities, because there's only so many jobs that go around, right? So I'm hoping that this facilitates a whole new kind of ecosystem for casters to come up and kind of hone their skills and have more opportunities to kind of contribute to the esports world with their talent, because a lot of these guys are very talented. They just don't have the opportunities. One big one I can think of is Breaky CPK in Dota 2. He gets opportunities here and there, but I think he's very, very talented, and I'm hoping that maybe we can help him out in the future and things like that. So that's kind of coming hopefully in the next year and a half. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of negotiations they're going to have to go on with these tournament organizers and things like that. But from there, we're also going to be going into we'll call it podcast and radio shows. So the goal is to pull in esports and gaming specific podcasts and radio shows. And so why we want to do that is what we're also realizing is these podcast applications are very general, and it's very hard to sort of find or I'll say discover esports and gaming podcasts on these platforms. And so what I want to do is I want to give the creators of these podcasts and radio shows the ability to access an audience that will love their product, right? So I hate saying this example because it's Valve's a huge corporation that make millions of dollars, but what they did for indie game studios by giving them a platform and a built-in audience on that platform to be able to promote their game, like I kind of want to do that for content creators via audio. So that's on the roadmap, as well as introducing things like podcasts and radio shows. And, hopefully that'll, again, breed this whole kind of ecosystem of people creating audio only content for gaming.
Awesome. And I hope people who listen to this realize the deep level of thinking that is going on here. So to sort of circle this all back, what you're doing is you're addressing two of the things that are very inherent with gamers right now. One is they need something that is portable, and it has to be on their phone, and it also has to work within the data restrictions and the performance restrictions of certain phones. And sound is very easy to transmit. The problem that comes in with our phones is when we're trying watching YouTube or Twitch on our phones. It's the video problem. So you're addressing people's desire to stay connected with their favorite games, their favorite casters, their favorite players on their phone with sound. It is portable, and you're then also helping the overall ecosystem from both ends. You're working with the tournament organizers to realize, hey, there's this growing audience that is portable and they're mobile. They want to stay in contact. We have these features for stats. They can jump in and out of the streams. It will help your viewer count. And you're also helping with the casters, providing more opportunities, because even in the NBA, you have the TV side and the radio side. The same goes with soccer. The same goes with football. Every Sunday during the football season, you have all the TV broadcasts, but then they also have the local radio broadcast. And who was it? I believe it was Sirius XM signed a deal to host all these local football broadcasts. You can listen to both home versions of the game. If you have Baltimore playing the Steelers, you can listen to both commentators. One is channel 403, one could be channel 409. You just switch back and forth. So what you're doing here is you're opening up the ecosystem, solving several problems that go very, very deep, and you're setting yourself up also with the original content thought process, which is what everybody wants anyway. There are thousands and thousands of podcasts on iTunes and Stitcher, and unless you know what to look for, it's really hard to find. So I'm actually extremely impressed with your thought process here. This is not just, hey, I had this crazy idea. You've actually worked out it's deep here. There's a lot of deep things going on. So I'm thrilled to death with what you're doing. I downloaded the app today. I signed up. I was scrolling through, and I see some good stuff. I see lots of space that you can add in more buttons and add in more content. So I'm really excited for what you guys have going on here. And so you sort of laid out what your roadmap is here. So if say tomorrow you got $5 million or $10 million or whatever, what could it be? I mean, in 5 years from now, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, what I hope it's going to be is truly like this robust offering of just audio only content for esports and gaming. I don't foresee us kind of getting into any other sort of medium. I want to stay in esports and gaming. I want the esports and gaming like consumers and the audience to like feel ownership of this set of applications, like that it's theirs. And I think, you know, what I've learned is that is very, very important to these people. And I know that because I am a fan myself, and I do like products that are specific to esports and gaming. I feel like it's, you know, I feel a little bit more ownership over the brand than, say, you know, a Coke that's, you know, everywhere and sponsoring everything and things like that. So we're definitely going to stay in that space, but I want to build it out to be this huge, robust ecosystem that, you know, allows you to discover, like I said, you can discover new content. You can, you know, listen to a broadcast from anywhere in the world, you know, no matter what you're doing. You know, if you're driving in the car, being able to listen to your favorite team play just like you would, you know, your favorite NBA team, is kind of where we want to go. It's, you know, the dream for us. So, yeah, like I said, it's just building out this huge, robust audio only platform and just enhancing it where people, you know, it's remains very easy to use and it's very natural for them to use. And it just enhances the experience when fans are experiencing, you know, esports and gaming.
Very nice. So Brett, thank you very, very much for making time to talk to me. I think you're, it might sound like that I'm just totally gushing over this, which I am. I'm sure that you have your daily challenges and everything, but thanks very much for making time to talk to me. I'll make sure to put the links to all 3 versions of your app in the description. I'll make sure that's taken care of. People want to follow you on Twitter at StrymerGG. It's spelled StryMer, Strymer GG. Download it on your iPhone, on your iPhone, on the Android. Get the desktop app. Head over to Strymer.gg. Check out the site. It has all the links there. If you want it on your desktop, get it on your phone. Download it now. Brett, thank you very, very much. I hope we can at some point connect again as you grow, as you get more users, as you get more content. I think that what you are doing and your thought process, like I said, is awesome. So thank you very much for this whole conversation. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Everybody, check out thegamehaus.com if you like this video and the other content that we have on the YouTube channel. You can subscribe and like, and we'll see you soon.